Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco. We're still on Hallmark Week, Hallmark Christmas Movie Week, that is, where we're doing Hallmark movies, and we have one more to do, which I'm doing today, and then Marco is going to do the Netflix movie, which is called what, Marco?
I don't like the title at all. It's called Christmas Chronicles.
No, I don't like that either.
I think it sounds stupid.
No, to me it doesn't fit with the
It should
movie.
have been something like
That sounds really old-fashioned.
some sort of a something about a deadline.
I don't know, but it could have used a different title, but we'll get to that. Marco's a little bit sicky, so I don't know if he's going to be doing his today, but I've been waiting to do mine. But anyway, I'm doing the movie called Once Upon a Holiday. And sorry, this came out in 2015. But like I've said before, there are so many Hallmark movies that come out every year. I don't know how anybody has the time to watch them all. And then by the time you get done with Christmas, you might be ready for something else for a while. Although I've talked to people lately who seem to watch Hallmark movies to kind of give them a I don't know, a happy fix to kind of a dreadful day. So, which is kind of what I do too. But the people in this movie, I'm just going to tell you who the people are in it. Katie is the main character. She's a princess from Mont- Montserrat, which I looked it up. I have a stamp collection, and I was wondering, I don't know anything about Montserrat, but in real life, it's a Caribbean island in the Leeward Islands. It's called the Emerald Island of the Caribbean because it looks like coastal Ireland, and many of its descendants have Irish ancestry, and Queen Elizabeth is the queen. But in this movie, Montserrat is a country, a very small one, in the middle of the mountains in Europe. So that's okay too. But Brianna Evigan is the person who plays Katie, and Paul Campbell is the male lead. He's Jack, and he is a former, I'm not sure, like a Wall Street person, or he made a lot of money and he decided to do what he likes best, and that's to build and to, he's a carpenter and fix, and so he's kind of like a contractor. He does renovations, and in real life, he is a carpenter. So that wasn't too far off from his real life character. Greg Evigan is George, and he's, I don't know, friend of the family, the royal family, and he is Brianna's real father in real life, which I find interesting. And which in a movie that there's a father and a daughter playing together. Ross, Casey Manderson is Ross, and he is uh, Jack's sister's boyfriend, and he's a reporter. And Jay Brazo is Harry. He's a Santa Claus and a magician, a person who plays Santa and belongs to a Santa Claus club. Beverly Elliott is his, uh, what would you call it? His stagehand helper. Her name in the movie is Dixie. Then Emma Langdon is Jack's sister, and her real name is Tara Wilson. And then Aunt Margaret is Katie's aunt, and her name in real life is Jacqueline Samuda. Okay, well, the story goes like this. When she was a little girl, Princess Katie accompanied her parents, the King and Queen of Montserrat, to New York City. While there, her mother took her to see Christmas displays and gave her a special camera. In the years since, Katie's parents were killed in a plane crash. Princess Katie and her Aunt Margaret now live together in a big castle where Katie's every day is planned to the minute, doing royal functions. She feels constrained and locked into a very strict lifestyle. Katie and Margaret are back in New York for a few days before Christmas, and like every other day, Every minute has been carefully planned. Instead of the usual public appearances, Katie wants to visit a special art gallery and be out on her own for a while. She conspires with George, who I told you in real life is her father, and he arranges for her to get away for a couple of hours so Katie can go see an exhibition at this art gallery. Um, when Katie heads to the gallery, it's closed. So she decides to navigate the streets of New York City alone, snapping pics of places and people. Along the way, she falls for a ruse by a man to take pictures of him, and he and his partner steal everything from her. A man named Jack, played by Paul Campbell, I've already said, witnesses the incident and tries to catch the thieves, but they're long gone. He encourages her to make a police report, but of course she doesn't want anyone to know who she is, including this guy Jack. He gives Katie money for a cab because she refuses to let him take her back to the hotel, and they veer off on their separate ways. All she has is this money he gave her, but no ID, no cell phone, and her camera's gone. It starts to grow dark, and she's lost, and weird men stare at her. She sees lights on in this magic shop that is filled with men dressed as Santas. She decides to go in, and they're having a party, and invite her to have some party food. She's hungry, so she agrees. The owner, Harry, a magician and a man who plays Santa, and his old-time stage assistant and lifelong friend Dixie are in charge of the magic shop. Apparently, Jack, who's the man who gave money to her earlier and saw her get robbed, he's a very good friend of Harry and Dixie's. He often makes repairs around the shop and shows up and sees Katie, who falls asleep on their couch after the party. Jack comes by the next day, and later he offers her a place to stay, an apartment he has been tasked with renovating. Jack not only repairs things like electrical circuits at Harry's magic shop, but he is a masterful carpenter. Still, no one knows that Katie is a real princess. Jack tries to take her to the gallery again, but some men who are part of a security team working for the royal palace see her and chase her. Jack sees the men try to get her, and he helps her escape. Jack's sister Emma, who owns a boutique, brings Katie some used clothes to that apartment that Jack is renovating. Katie's short spate of freedom in New York will only be able to last until Christmas, because she must be back home for some huge annual festival, so she tries enjoying every minute of it incognito, meaning no one still knows who she is, who she really is. Meanwhile, the royal security guard snapped a picture of Jack's truck with a license plate, so they know who he is. Also, Jack's sister has a boyfriend, Ross, who's tired of covering TV fluff pieces and is looking for a real story to help enrich his journalistic career. Like a missing princess, for example? What will happen? Will Katie finally tell the magic shop people and Jack and his sister who she really is? Or will she get outed as the missing princess by Ross, or be taken in by the Montserrat Royal Security Detail? I enjoyed the movie because it was a little different than other princess-to-be movies. This time there's already a princess, but will there be a new prince-to-be by the end of the movie? The focus really is about a princess whose life is dictated by strict scheduling of her time, fulfilling public interest events. She meets all these new people in New York City, and they become her second family. It's a pleasant, happy movie. Katie is naive, but she has been protected her whole life and not been out on her own. So what do you expect, and what should I expect? I watched it a couple of times because it's satisfying enough to ward off some of the bad news of the day. So what I'm going to give it is a slice of chocolate cake with a few raspberries on top. So enjoy the movie. I watched it on YouTube, which is where I watched quite a few of the movies. And the next movie that we will be reviewing, which will be Marco's responsibility, is The Christmas Chronicles, and it's on Netflix. Now, I just wanted to explain again, which I explained a few.
I didn't watch a Hallmark movie because
Most of them,
most of
probably
them are for
90 something
girls.
percent, are geared toward women. And I'm not being mean, I'm just saying the truth. I have found a few, but this year,
I would have probably watched the Chocolatier one just to see. You just well, you Safi described she watched a Chocolatier one, and
which is a Valentine movie, though.
and in this one, there's lots of eating, and she said that it made her sick, and I wanted to watch it to see what was up.
Well, maybe I'll have them watch it. We'll have a week called Just for Fun, and we'll have movies to review that we watched, something we never expected to watch.
Like the peanut butter solution.
Oh, brother. Maybe I'll have to watch that one, but it won't be just for fun for me. But anyway, and I'll call it just for fun week, and Marco can watch it. It was a movie called I think it's called The Chocolatier, and it's a Valentine movie. It just came out, so this would be a recent movie. And I apologize that I don't even know if we had any recent 2019 or 2018. Sorry. Hallmark movies, but it's hard to. First of all, when they first come out, you can maybe watch them for a few days or maybe a week, and then they take them down from YouTube. And I have
for copyright reasons.
For copyright reasons, and I have a Hallmark app, but they don't put the recent movies on the app. And they're not all. I mean, you only can see really the Christmas movies for the most part. You can only see them at Christmas time. So I watch really most of the movies we review on our channel. I watch them on YouTube. So in fact, I think every single one of these I watched on YouTube. So anyway, maybe Marco can watch this for our Just for Fun week. This Chocolatier movie. Oh God, I wish I could remember the name of the girl, but it's a woman who is an actress who's in a lot of Hallmark movies. And there's like a few actresses and actors who have play in a lot of them, so they're very well known to the
How would
public.
this movie rank with all the other Hallmark movies you watched?
Wow. Well, I guess I'd give it a B, but it's very pleasant, and it's not contrived, and it seems real, and like I said, a lot of these movies about royalty are about women, plain ordinary women who become princesses, and they live the high life. And I was thinking about poor Meghan Markle, who's going to have a baby.
Meghan Markle?
Meghan Markle, who just got married to Prince Harry, and from what I hear, I mean, I don't know what's real, because this is coming out of London or England, but she's not, things aren't so pleasant for her all the time. I'm not talking about her personal life, like her family. I'm talking about how people view her as a pregnant woman. I just feel bad for her because it's her first child. It's hard enough to be pregnant, much less it be your first child, and have people judge you because you put your hand on your ever-growing baby bump, which is odd to me, but that's the way it is. So I was thinking about her and how she was just a regular person, and she became a princess. And on Hallmark movies, they make it sound like it's the best thing on the planet to have happen to you, and to me, I don't know if that's the case.
So none of these Hallmark movies end up where the girl's like, oh, you know what? Normal life is better.
No, they don't say that.
Well, I
But
guess it's kind of like the opposite for Double Double Toil and Trouble, where you had a homeless person tell you that money didn't matter to them, and they could just, friends matters more than money to them.
well, I don't know if it's about all about money. I think it's about the excitement of being in a castle
Well, I
if
just
you
mean
happen to
like
live
it's the opposite. Like they're saying that like that you need to have that stuff, and he's saying that you don't need to have that stuff, and there's got to be like a balance.
Well, yeah. But in this movie though, it's not emphasized at all. In fact, the romance is not really emphasized. It's really basically they're really she's friends with all these. She's made all these new friends, and she kind of learns about things she's never even. I mean, basic things and eating things like pizza she's never even had before, and it isn't till the end where he comes to visit her. Like I said, she has to go back home. I can't. I'm not going to tell you what happens, how she gets found out or whatever, but she does have to go back home. And Jack, the carpenter contractor, ends up going there, and that's why I said maybe this is going to be a prince to be. So so that's different. I don't think I've ever seen a movie where that happens. There's going to be a man who could be get married and be a prince. So I don't know, but whatever. It's just different in that way. But really, basically, it is about her getting some freedom and discovering new people and new places and new things, and then finding love, as well as the friendships along the way. But it's not totally focused on that. I like that too because sometimes I think these movies are a little bit too focused on the romance and the story almost gets lost. And so I just thought it was a very pleasant movie. And if you want to you just want to, it's like I've said before, watching a Hallmark movie is like eating a Christmas cookie. And something sweet and something to make you briefly happy to you hear some bad news or you have a bad day or you're depressed or the news of the night is disheartening. You watch this and it makes you feel a little better. That's what a Hallmark movie does. So anyway, that's it. And the
Not
next,
for me.
yeah, poor Marco. But I'm sure he's really upset that he's missing these wonderful Hallmark movies. I mean, I just don't even bother having him watch them. So, okay, well, we have to wrap up because I got to make dinner. So, goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.